Hello, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Not so bad. What about you?
Good. Alex, we introduced you with our funny little bonus Ask Me Anything, and now it's the main show. First one as an actual host. How are you feeling?
I had a nap today, so I'm feeling awake.
I mean, to be fair, he's also done this like 100 times with us anyway.
Well, yeah, but none of those times was it like official.
It's my first official, but my one. We're probably about 7th, 8th go. We've done this rodeo.
Okay, well, fuck you both then. I'm gonna.
And it's always with you two.
Well, that's because we are the two blokes from Blighty, and if you wanted to do it with Slade, it'd be the one man from Alabama. Which we should say at time of recording, Slade told us today and the world that he and his partner are engaged, so congratulations. We said it in the last episode assuming that she would say yes. That was a weird move on our part, but
very wild assumption.
But congratulations, Slade.
Yeah,
we wish you both a lifetime of happiness.
Slade, I hope that your pregnancy goes well. As we all know, Slade is part seahorse. Mm-hmm. So
he's not part seahorse, he's all seahorse.
All the time, baby.
How do you feel about that statement, Alex?
What, that he's fully seahorse?
Yeah.
As a shrimp, he's now my mortal enemy.
Mm. Yeah. He was before, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, but now there's a reason.
Do you want to explain to anyone who doesn't know your online name why you said that? Because otherwise they'll be like, what the fuck?
because my online name is Space Shrimp, and which is very funny because I am about as far from a shrimp as you can get because I'm massive and I don't like seafood.
Wow.
In all fairness, I don't think shrimp like seafood either. They're mostly like bottom feeders and algae.
Bottom feeders, and they love algae.
They love the middle of algae.
Do Americans have Aldi and Lidl?
They have Aldi.
So they know the joy of the middle aisle.
Yeah, but like it doesn't have the same kind of catchy name as the middle of Lidl.
The middle of Lidl.
They've hit a knockout with that marketing there.
Yeah. I'm going on holiday tomorrow at time of recording, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on Two Blokes from Blighty, but I've got my clothes ready for tomorrow morning. The ones I'm wearing are here, but the ones that I'm packed. And look what's on my socks. Check it out.
We're looking. Oh, they're little socks. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn second.
For anyone who's interested, the rest of Joey's pile is just a pair of tighty whities, and he's going away for a week.
Bam.
I got Jenny a pair of Aldi sliders, Tim.
Oh, they're very comfortable.
Good. I'm glad. Were you wearing them while we were?
I was.
Let me show you really quickly what I'm wearing on my feet.
Feet pics for the Patreon subscribers.
These are my slippers. I think I've shown them on here before.
Oh, Bluey.
Your Bluey ones.
Bluey's dad.
I'm going to try and find a picture, and this is going to be great for the audience because it's a famously visual medium. Where is it?
I love it when you do this because it's so fun to edit. Thanks, Tim.
No problem. Here you go, gang. I'm going to pop this straight in our little chat. Here we go. I saw these for sale on TikTok, and I'm really tempted to buy them.
Oh, God.
So
Alex, can you describe what's going on there?
Alex or me?
Alex, please.
We have got a pair of beigey coloured slippers that honestly look like they might be made of clay rather than a soft fabricy material, and it is just a giant toe on each foot.
It's incredible.
He could do with trimming his nails a bit nicer though.
There you go. That's the product from a different angle in case you guys want it.
A different angle doesn't make it better. I love that the models there try to look really sort of suave and really like well dressed with just giant toe slippers.
I want to know what they're watching on YouTube in the background of that photo.
Let me have a look.
Like some sort of song.
It is.
Hang on.
I mean, this is terrible content. Let's just be real with everyone here.
Something featuring MIA. I think the song's called Franchise.
There you go.
It's like something featuring Young Thug and MI. I bet we can find this.
There we go. Travis Scott and Young Thug with MIA franchise.
There you go. Now you can support the Lenovo using Travis Scott fan. Okay, so we're going to get into the episode. This episode, unfortunately, contains spoilers for the masterpiece that is Lord of the Rings, Gollum. Hello and welcome back to the Game Club Pod. I am one of your three hosts this time, Joe Fitzgerald. I'm joined by Alex.
Hello.
And Tim.
Hello. I was going to do a noise, but I hadn't prepared my throat, and I knew it was going to hurt.
What were you going to do?
I was going to go up. I can't do a Gollum voice, but I could just make noises.
We will get on to Gollum voices, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, we will.
Yay.
Before we get into our main episode, we always start with a question. So, guys, what's the worst video game you've ever played? And it can't be this one.
I'm going to go with Ride to Hell Retribution on the Xbox 360.
Nice.
You had that loaded and ready to go.
It's a question that sometimes comes up in our little gaming chat that we have at work, but it's, for anyone who doesn't know, it is one of the worst titles to come out on the 360, possibly in gaming history, with famous clothes on sex scenes, horrible turret sections, quote unquote open world, but it's about 3 streets, and horrible motorbike physics throughout the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alex?
What about you guys?
Oh, I might need a minute.
Okay. Do you want me to go?
Go for it.
We spoke about mine on this podcast, and it was because of Tim that I played it. It was Hunt Down the Freeman.
Oh, what a game.
It was awful. Start to finish. It was like someone's very drunk mod for Half-Life. I would say other games that I scored worse, like Unpacking, but like as much as I hated Unpacking, it was exactly what they intended it to be. Whereas Hunt Down the Freeman, I don't even know that they knew what a video game was. I think they heard that they were quite profitable and then just rammed it all into a very tight space and saw what came out.
Alex, we should get you to play that at some point.
What do I have to?
No, but it would be nice.
Alex, have you found your worst ever game?
I feel bad for saying it, but one of the worst games that's coming to mind was Fallout 76 when it originally released, because that was a dumpster fire. And to be honest, it's the same for No Man's Sky. That wasn't great to begin with either, but they've both sort of turned it around. But
that's fair.
Unfortunately, I've never played the E.T. game on the Atari, so
I'm sure we could do something about that.
What
was it about? I understand Fallout 76 was just like a husk of a Fallout game when it came out. It was a bit soulless. It was not really working very well. No one actually spoke any words, etc. What was it about No Man's Sky? Was it over-promising and under-delivering?
That was a lot of it. There was all these big promises of you can go to all these different planets and do all these different things, and then when the game actually launched, it was sort of there wasn't actually much to do in them. It was very sort of the same fetch quest 20 times on the same looking planets, but then they've obviously worked on it, and now it's one of the better space exploration games out there.
I mean, I think you can level that criticism at a lot of games. I think Sea of Thieves, when it came out, was incredibly samey. For example. Okay, cool. Well, let's get into the game. Gollum. It's actually called Lord of the Rings Gollum, but we're going to call it Gollum. Gollum was released on the 25th of May 2023 by Daedalic Entertainment. It was released on PS5, Switch, Xbox, PC, and more, including GeForce Now. For some reason, Steam isn't listed in the platforms it was released on Google, but GeForce Now is. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, take that how you like. It's definitely available on Steam. That's how we played it.
Yeah. The genre, according to Google, is single-player game. The genre is actually, it's a bit of a adventure stealth game, I would say. It got glowing reviews, like 4 out of 10 from IGN, 2 out of 10 from GameSpot, 12% on Google, 1 out of 5 on Tom's Guide. Kotaku called it the worst game of 2023, and The Guardian ran with the headline on its review, Lord of the Rings Gollum review, boil it, mash it, stick it in the bin.
Whoever did that, get a raise.
Immediate thoughts with Alex, please.
When you asked me to come on for this one, I wanted to not believe the hype, because obviously we've all seen the reviews online, we've all seen the come out of it. I wanted to not believe it, but oh boy, it's true and then some. This was less of a game and more of an experience, but not a good one.
Okay, cool. Any thoughts on how much you loved it?
Oh yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Tim, thoughts?
It was bad. Do not get me wrong, it was bad. I do have a couple of positives actually about this game. To give credit where credit is due, the environments actually looked really quite nice for the most part. And the levels themselves were well designed, but it felt like Gollum moved at like a very different pace and had different like air maneuverability to like what the level designers were expecting Gollum to move like. So it felt very disconnected. But in terms of the puzzle design, it was fine. I would say passable. The levels looked nice. Gollum looked awful, sounded awful, and everything else was awful. But I don't think this napalm fire was entirely napalm.
Okay, cool. Any more thoughts, Tim?
No.
I kind of agree with you. So, once again, let's reiterate, this game is bad. It's really bad. And we're not defending it. We're not on the side of Gollum. But there are some redeemable qualities about it. Some redeemable qualities. I hard disagree that the environments are good. Hard disagree. I think Middle-earth as a Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, that kind of setting is a really interesting one with so much lore. Like lore coming out of its ears. And every single level is, you are in the bottom of a cave, so get out of the cave.
It's not Lord of the Rings, but it still looks nice.
I don't think it does, though. I think everything was brown and sludgy until you got to the elf bit, which I can't remember the name. Is it Rivendell?
Yeah.
So you're in a prison in Rivendell, and then it's just brown and sludgy with some leaves on the top of it. It just... I didn't think it looked appealing in any way. I found the stealth mechanics basic, but they worked sometimes.
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent. I found that so there's 10 chapters of this game. I want to know actually both, how long did you play it for?
Let me pull it up on Steam. I finished the game first out of the group.
Yeah.
And it took me 14 hours.
Okay. Alex?
I've got just shy of 8 hours and I hit the halfway point.
Okay, cool. I have 14.2 hours. So Tim and I both finished it. Alex hit the halfway point. So Alex, you didn't actually see any of the elf section. You just saw murky, boring Mordor.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think to Tim's point, the environments were nice. The different asset pieces were nice.
Yeah.
In a vacuum, they'd look very nice. They were put together shoddy, and then they were coated with brown.
Yes.
I think that one of the things I can say in this game's favor is for my entire 14-hour playthrough, and I know that this wasn't the case with everyone on the call. I had a solid 60 frames a second. I had 60 FPS, and it worked really well.
I did when I had to move over to PC. Sometime around chapter 7, my Steam Deck stopped loading Gollum. I don't know why. It would always get to this one point in Rivendell and just crash. And not just crash the game, crash my entire Steam Deck. And I don't know if there's a fix for it. I tried different protons. I tried reloading it. I tried booting it in offline mode. I tried verifying the integrity of the game's files. I tried re-downloading it, and it still did the same thing. But the moment I moved to PC, 60 FPS, pretty constant, worked just, I'm going to say, fine with the biggest air quotes.
It sounds like there was probably an asset that it was just struggling with, something that was, for some reason, they've put a million poly asset in there and the Steam Deck's just exploded as a result.
Pretty much. But
has any game done that to your Steam Deck?
No, not that consistently. There has been times that my Steam Deck has crashed, when just doing stuff, if I've had 2 games open, for example. But obviously the Steam Deck isn't really designed for that.
Right.
This is designed to run on its own in a vacuum, and for the most part, Gollum did that at somewhere of a range between 3 and 30 frames per second. But this game has probably been the worst performing game I've played on the Steam Deck consistently. There have been games that I've played, I've played through Ace Combat 7 on Steam, and yes, there are points where it hitches a little bit, and sometimes where it grinds to the single digit in frame numbers, but that's for maybe 1 chapter and 5 minutes of that chapter. This was consistently and that's the Steamy Steam Corner.
Alex, how was the performance on yours?
So, for the most part, it was running quite smooth, but there were sections, and I could not figure out a pattern behind them, but there were sections where it would dip to about 6 frames per second.
I was helping you through a section that was not very well telegraphed, and this happened, and Alex was playing at 12 FPS, and I said to him, "Oh, just try dropping the quality for a minute." And what happened when you dropped it down to slightly, not even a massive drop, but a slight drop in quality, Alex?
So we were in this section where it was one of the stealth sections with some lighting, the fancy, the candles and all that stuff, the torches, and dropped it down from high graphics to medium graphics, and suddenly everything got very, very glittery. Everything had been glitter bombed.
I had with any sort of fire or glowing effect. I couldn't work out what it was doing.
I don't know what it is, but from a technical standpoint, they've done something weird with the diffuse map, I think.
Can we
or the specular map, and it's just, for some reason, you put it down to medium graphics, and suddenly those maps become 300% amplified.
I have something I'd like to bring to the table.
Okay.
While Gollum as a character model looked awful, it wasn't as bad as every bird in the game.
The birds were awful.
I don't
think I looked at the birds in enough detail.
Bird.
No, the bird. Your bird. Your bird was hilariously dumb looking.
Yeah, it had eyes that had seen the future, and it was not looking bright.
No. I want to give you 3 headlines of reviews of the game. So The Guardian obviously went for boil it, mash it, stick it in the bin. Rock, Paper, Shotgun gave it the headline, Lord of the Rings Gollum review, I hates it. And GameSpot went with Lord of the Rings Gollum review, we don't want it, we don't needs it. So game journalists really hit the mark with this one. Well done.
Especially great work to The Guardian.
Yeah, The Guardian one is very good. I would like to go through the story, but I'm going to do it very, very quickly, because the story of Gollum is you get captured somewhere and then they let you out and you explore for a bit. and then you escape a bit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You become the favourite prisoner for a bit, don't you?
But like, there's two sections where you're a prisoner. So the game is basically split into two parts. You're in Mordor or you're in Rivendell. So you're with the orcs or you're with the elves. And both of them, you are in prison. And both of them, you wander around with the people that imprisoned you, and then you befriend other prisoners and escape. That's the whole thing.
Right.
That's my nearly 15-hour playthrough. However, within this, there are some actual Lord of the Rings characters. Gandalf makes an appearance. The big eye of Sauron makes an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the spider? Shelob.
Shelob, I think.
You're very close.
Shelob makes an appearance, and I think those characters were much more fun than Gollum itself. I actually really enjoyed the Shelob scene.
I really enjoyed playing Crash Bandicoot again.
Exactly. It was just Crash Bandicoot. I think that this game is so hard to talk about because it's such a mishmash of ideas. You have platforming, cartoony platforming, where you can wall run and jump about 40 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
You have stealth, where the slightest movement will get you caught. So you're basically playing Metal Gear Solid on hard mode. And then you have, the one Crash Bandicoot section where you're running towards the screen and avoiding things, which I actually thought was done quite well. If they did more of that, I wouldn't be disheartened. And then they have the companion sections.
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts on the companion sections. Alex?
Completely unnecessary and not very well thought out. They were just. I had to look up a tutorial for one of them because I just could not. When you're in the tower and you've got to get the bird to knock the pot off the wall, and there's a weird bit where for some reason the bird is at the top of the astrolabe, but you can't see that. It doesn't get telegraphed, and you've got to basically walk up there and just figure it out. And it seems like it was a feature that they added because they needed to pad the game out, not because it was something good for the game.
Tim, thoughts on the companion section?
Yeah, I mean, the companions were not particularly great. The thing that comes to mind first is very early on in the game where you're still very much a bit of a runt of the prisoners in Mordor, and you're being chased by boars in some sort of arena, and your companion, who you can't see, and you can't see what they're pointing at, just says, quickly get behind those rocks while you're already being chased, and quickly pull that lever, and there's no indication as to what pointing at. It was very trial and error, and it felt like that consistently throughout the game. Anytime there was a companion, it was, okay, well, what thing on the checklist haven't I tried? And then move on per item.
Yeah. To the game's credit, it gave multiple endings. You could have a good ending or a bad ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact that Tim and I got different endings.
Yes.
So here's the big spoiler. At the end of the game, you are in somewhere near Rivendell in the forest. It's a tomb, and the door is closed behind you, and you can get out if you have a certain incantation. Tim, what happened on yours?
I got out and was polite to my bird friend when he came to visit me, despite him being a narc.
So the bird friend comes and visits you before you're out, right? And if you're nice to him and you pet him, he goes and he finds help to get you out of this door.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tim, you got out the door.
I got out the door.
I killed and ate the bird. Because it was so scary to look at. It's one of those things that if I was playing the room and my son came in the room, my 2-year-old son, I would make sure that he didn't look at it because it gave me Momo vibes.
Yeah.
You remember Momo? Like the
Yeah.
uncanny valley, your brain hates it and wants to implode.
Yeah.
Because it sort of looks like something it's meant to and also absolutely doesn't. So I thought the best thing to do is to put it out of its misery. So I killed it, and then the door never opened, and I could only assume that Gollum died in the tomb. So that was fun.
Great.
Another thing I want to say about Gollum, and then I'll come to your favourite bits, so I'll give you a little bit of time to think. Because of the level design of Gollum, there are bits where you run up walls, across walls, you climb ledges, you jump ravines because you can jump about 60 foot in the air.
Yep.
Some of the platforming works well. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Some of it works really well. Some of it is so unclear as to where you have to go until you use what I'm going to affectionately call Gollum vision.
It's Eagle Vision from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it is. And then so the world goes black and white, and an orange line appears and literally goes, "It's this way. You're an idiot. Follow this line." The amount of times I did that, and then it still took me to a way that I died, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The amount of times I died in this game would have been really frustrating if I didn't get to see Gollum die so many times.
Oh my god, the ragdoll on Gollum, the first maybe 30 times, was consistently funny.
Yeah.
Like, because he would just be mid-sentence and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to fall off this cliff," and he would just hit the floor like a sack of and die.
He was one step away from going, bleh.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. I actually took a lot of joy in how poor this game was. I don't know if I took 14 hours worth of joy. So, favourite parts of the game? I'm going to start with Tim.
I mean, the dying aspect was pretty great. So I was playing, as I said, I played most of this on my Steam Deck, so I'd be sat in bed playing this like in the evenings and whatever. And Payne saw the bird and was just like, "What the is that thing?" Just of all things to stand out, it's that. And I just think the bird is arguably more iconic to me when I think of this game than Gollum himself. Although I will, again, just to give this game credit where credit is due, while not entirely fleshed out, I think, if anyone knows anything about Lord of the Rings, obviously Gollum, Smeagol, there's a bit of a schizophrenia thing going on there. They handled that in a really interesting way where you had to like debate the options with the other personality. So you would be given essentially a prompt of like, oh, you have the option to kill this guard or something, just as an example. And then the game will ask you, do you want to be compassionate or do you want to be malicious? You know, Smeagol or Gollum. And you then have to enter a debate with your with the alternate personality. And I thought that was a really interesting take.
Okay. Now, there's a big difference in interesting and well executed.
Correct. So a concept can be interesting. A concept may not be well executed. And that's why I say it wasn't well executed at all. That's why I say it was. That's why I say it's interesting, but not well done.
But the whole point was to convince the other side of your personality, right?
Yes.
And the way that you convince it wasn't through any kind of logic or reason. It was literally saying what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And then, so if you said, "Oh, I want to kill this guy," your way of convincing the good side of you that it's right to kill this guy is saying, "Oh, well, he's a bad guy. We should kill him." And it goes, "Oh, okay, then I'll just kill him." It's
really easily convinced.
Really poor, I would say. What about you, Alex? I think that was Tim's answer to his favourite part.
Yes.
I don't think I had a specific favourite part of the game because it was all very sort of
bad.
Bad. To go back to it, in a vacuum, the art bits were good. Like it was artistically, it was well made. It just wasn't very well put together. As bad as it sounds, the loading screens were probably one of my favorite parts because the art was so much nicer in the loading screens because it was all like the concept arts and it was all really well done. And then you look into grey, slimy Gollum.
So I want to talk about Gollum as a character design.
Yep.
What happened?
He looks like, you know, at school when you've got like a clay project and it doesn't quite keep its shape in the kiln.
Yeah.
It looks a bit like that.
Everything he looks at he has a 1,000-yard stare because his eyes are about 2 inches further forward than the rest of his body.
Mm-hmm.
It looks
It's
like,
like a slug.
you know Tom and Jerry where they see a pie on the windowsill that they really want and their eyes pop out.
Yeah.
Like his eyes never went back in. As well as his awful look, Alex, you did a pretty good impression. Can you just say anything Gollum would say?
Stupid fat hobbitses.
Thank you. I'm going to
There
put
you
in what they used, how they did Gollum's voice in this game, because it might as well have been someone going, "Hello, my name's Gollum," and
my name's Dave. Let us go here.
What's this, precious? A nasty tree.
Turn it.
Turn it.
Upside down.
Is it a trick?
You'll like this one, just turn it.
Faces. No, we want them gone.
I'm gonna go to Mordor and I'd like a shiny ring. Oh yes, I'm Gollum. What was the voice?
It was awful. Like it was not Gollum. It might have been a gremlin of sorts, but it wasn't Gollum.
You know the concept of it's a Friday at 3:30 job. That was
Yeah.
Gollum's voice. They went, "Oh, we've not hired a voice actor. Oh, Andy Serkis is too busy. Let's go and just get Phil off the street. He'll do it."
And they said, "Phil, can you do this voice?" And Phil said, "What's a Gollum?" And that's how they came up with the voice.
And then they showed him a picture of Gollum from the game.
Yeah. I mean, my other and final question, really, before I ask you guys if there's anything else you want to add, is Lord of the Rings, right? The films, great.
Incredible.
The Hobbit
Fantastic.
has its moments. The
They
Hobbit
were
films
fine.
are pretty good. The books, interesting. Both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. There are some really good Lord of the Rings games.
Battle for Middle-earth, Two Towers,
Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
Don't
both
bother
of-
with the Rings of Power series, though. That was pretty bad.
Even the Lego Lord of the Rings games are pretty good.
Yep.
Who in their right mind is asking for a Gollum video game?
So I actually did some reading on this. I wanted to understand in the same way that people watch crime dramas and documentaries. So I was doing some reading, and apparently in an interview with one of the writers, they were saying that of all the characters in Lord of the Rings, Gollum has arguably seen the most stuff, and would therefore be a pretty great storytelling device for them wanting to tell a story. But the problem is they didn't pull from the fucking canon, and they pulled it out of their arse. So none of it made sense, not one bit.
The problem is as well that while yes, Gollum will in this universe, Gollum will have seen the most out of just about anyone. He didn't really do anything in a lot of it, which doesn't lean itself well into a main character. If they'd done some sort of Telltale series, visual novel style stuff where it's Gollum retailing things he's seen, that could have been really good. Having Gollum as a playable character in a stealth survival jumpy uppy down game, not so much.
I mean, Gollum as a character is 556 years old.
Yeah.
So he's seen some right?
Yeah.
I mean, but the books of Lord of the Rings are meant to take place, I think it's over 30 years.
Correct.
It's something obscene like that. I would rather hear the story of someone who had spent 10 minutes doing something interesting than someone who had spent 10 years in a cave. And that's what we got here, was he might have had almost 600 years worth of experience. He didn't talk about any of it, apart from going, "Oh, I'm scared to go over there."
Yeah.
Oh,
that was it.
A fish.
And they didn't even explain the fish. I mean, he had a big thing about fish. There was healing items in this game of mushrooms and fish. I
Hold on, there were healing items?
Well,
That were
exactly.
eating items, yeah.
I never once used a healing item. I just died and carried on.
Well, yeah, there was very little consequence for dying. I thought you die and it would just put you back to a checkpoint. I had no idea there was healing items.
I think a checkpoint is quite a loose term. It was you die and they put you back to
Some
about
arbitrary
10
place.
about 10 seconds before you died, to be honest. The other thing I will say about this game is I was soft locked 3 times throughout my playthrough.
That'll happen.
Once, when you're following the frail man in the Mordor prisons and you crawl through the tunnel that he instructs you to, and then when you do the puzzle, you crawl back out and talk to him. I was crawling through that tunnel and the door shut in front of me twice. So I just was stuck in there. And that was it.
I had points in Rivendell where the doors... There's points in Rivendell where you're supposed to go through these doors and look at the secret elvish code to open the doors. And at one point I was just like, I wonder if I could just jump over the wall that's next to the door. And I just could. I had no need to do the puzzle. And the game was like, all right, yeah, fair enough, you did it.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot like that. Anything else anyone wants to say on these masterpieces?
Yes. Bugs.
Let's talk about bugs.
So I want to talk specifically about the first bug that I encountered, which was after the very first cutscene in the game, after you speak to Gandalf and it's loading to go and load you into the first level. I had what was referred to as a low-level fatal error.
Now, I had this a lot on the Steam Deck as well.
So I reloaded and it did it again. So I thought, right, I'll go and validate my game files because that usually fixes 99% of the issues. And it said to me, one file has failed to validate and we're going to re-download it. Cool, yeah, fine. That one file was 19 gigabytes. The game itself is only 25 or somewhere in that region. Two-thirds of the game were in one file.
It's amazing.
According to Steam.
That is amazing.
I've never seen one file that big in a Steam game.
I had a really weird issue, and I think it was either Alex or Joey had the same thing, where when I was playing this on PC, for some reason, Discord seemed to think I was playing Tribes of Midgard.
Yeah. Alex thought that was so funny, he spat his drink out.
Well, Joey asked me, how's Tribes of Midgard? And I was like, I'm not playing Tribes of Midgard, I'm playing Gollum. And then Joey sent a screenshot, and then I sent a screenshot.
Yeah, I think we decided that Discord was too embarrassed to announce that you're playing Gollum.
The thing is, though, it wasn't just Discord, because if you went into your task manager to, force the game to shut when it had a fatal error, the actual file name was TOM, Tribes of Midgard. That was the process name.
I am curious about something. Tribes of Midgard. Who is the developer and publisher?
Not anyone involved in this.
They are not. No, this is Norsefell Games Inc. and published by Gearbox.
Yeah.
So, how is this happening?
There's got to be something in the coding that's linking it to Tribes of Midgard by accident.
Tim, what's worse, the fact that you played this game or the fact that people think you played a game associated with Gearbox?
That's a very tough question. I'm going to go with that people thought I played a game associated with Gearbox.
Fair enough. Okay, so any more? The only other bug I will give honourable mention to is when you die, you can choose to start at your latest checkpoint or the start of the level. And sometimes when you're near the end of a level, the game forgets what checkpoint means and just sends you back to the start of the level anyway.
Correct. I have a theory that it works on a lap system like a racing game.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I had one where after dying, I was stuck in place. I could throw rocks. I couldn't do anything else. And that was a shut the game down and reload it.
you also had one where every time you died, you would come back and it would give you the same piece of dialogue
Oh God!
every single time, no matter where you were in the level.
The worst bit is that transcended levels. So that happened. That started in Act 1, and it was the voice line of "What does beasts mean? It means they'll feed us to the beasties, but we said we'd get it for them. We swears." That happens in the first arc, the first level, chapter, whatever they call it. By chapter 5, I was still getting that voice line every goddamn time I died, to the point I turned the voice off.
Which I wish I knew you could do.
Yeah.
Well, that was our discussion on Tribes of Midgard.
So we're going to go scores and recommendations. Alex, can I have yours first?
It 3-ish, yeah, 3, because there are bits in it that work. There are, while not being particularly innovative or fun, the stealth system worked. The free running sections worked, in air quotes. It just wasn't. None of it was put together very well. None of it was quality checked.
No. Despite the game saying so in the credits, there definitely wasn't quality assurance.
That's one of those things where people have done something to lie on their CV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, I'm guessing you're giving this a big fat recommendation.
I'm giving it a big fat recommendation in the bin.
Okay, cool. Boil it, mash it, stick it in the bin. Tim,
Yeah, exactly.
Your scores and recommendations, please.
I think I'm also going to go with a 3.
Yeah.
So for anyone who knows me, I revel in trash films. They're my favorite. So for anyone who wants to experience a train wreck, go ahead. For everyone else, no.
Okay, cool. So that's 2 high scores and high recommends. I'm going to go a bit higher than you guys. I'm going to give it a 3.1.
Wow.
Because I had more fun playing this than I had fun playing Unpacking.
So that's a 3.3 recurring?
3.0.
3.03 recurring, sorry.
But I would recommend this. If you can find this in a sale like I did, I think I got the game for £3, something very low. It was fun to see what all of the fallout was about.
Yeah.
It created a lot of discussion, not all of it good.
Very little of it good.
I think do you know the best praise I can give it, and I think they should put this on the box art. I don't regret playing it.
No?
I can tell people that I've completed that game.
It's a bit like saying I've been to war, isn't it?
Yes. I expect discount in big box stores. So that gives it a 3.03 recurring, and 1 recommends out of 3. Tim, you
Hello.
have our next game.
Yes, join us next week where we're going to be playing Event Zero.
0 events happen in that episode.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. The other thing I do want to say before we finish this is this game killed its developer.
It didn't it yet? Data Lickers no more.
Oh, they also put out an AI written apology, didn't they?
They did. So they put out an apology on official. You know when people don't like write a tweet and send it as a tweet, they do it as a picture so that it can't be copied, it can't be edited. And people, I can't remember how they did it, but they found out that that's the exact wording that ChatGPT would use for an apology for a game.
I think they probably went on ChatGPT and just put in apology letter for Lord of the Rings Gollum, because I think that's about all the effort that'll have been put into that apology.
Yeah. Just funny. Worth reading up on.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some stuff in the post amble, so we will see you there. Thank you both, gentlemen.
Join us next time where Slade will be seeing how many picture frames he can carry in each hand.
Are you going to tell him about this or just expect him to know?
We've already recorded the episode, so...
Oh, right, fair enough.
Okay, cool. See you then. And Slade, Picture hands, as he's known. Bye.
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 Okay, cool. Welcome to the post amble. I am cutting that bises out because it sounded awful. I have a going for get over here for you both.
Oh, does Alex have a theme on this?
No, but we can make one.
Oh no.
We can make one. Okay, well, I mean, it's a big assumption that Alex will win. Going for get over here is a rip-off of the old TV show Going for Gold. I have 3 people or characters. I'm going to give you facts about them, and you are pitted against each other to tell me who that character is. Now, it's fastest finger first. So, in order for me to know who was fastest, you need to say your name.
Yep.
As dealer, the dealer's choice is final. So, if you say it at the same time, but I think I heard Alex first, for example, Alex will go first, and I expect no arguing from you, Tim.
Okay, weird to call me out, but that's fine.
Well, just back in your box, okay?
All right.
Are the rules clear?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Cool. So this is going for get over here. Okay. Question number 1. Person number 1. I am fictional character.
Narrows it down.
Any guesses?
Alex.
Alex?
Is it Gollum?
No. Tim, do you want to guess?
Gandalf.
Incorrect. Clue number 2. I have appeared in 3 series of books ranging from 1937 to 1980 and a number of films.
Series of books. Tim.
Tim?
Sherlock Holmes?
Incorrect. Alex, do you want to guess?
Watson?
Incorrect. Fact number 3. I am based on the character Grendel from the epic poem Beowulf, also known as a shadow walker.
Pass? Is that an option?
No, have a fucking guess.
Alex?
Alex?
Is it Conan the Barbarian?
Incorrect. Tim?
Michael J. Fox.
You are correct. No, that is incorrect.
That famous fictional character, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Fact number 4. I grew up wealthy, but quickly lost everything.
Alex?
Batman? Incorrect.
I was also just thinking Batman.
Batman still has everything.
He lost his parents.
So
He has
his parents.
nothing.
Well,
Also, Robin a number of times.
Well, spoilers for Batman.
Little Nicky from the film Little Nicky.
Incorrect. Fact number 5. I was almost played by John Lennon in a Stanley Kubrick version of Lord of the Rings.
Alex?
Aragon? Incorrect.
Tim, I'm going to go with Legolas.
Incorrect. Now, one of you is going to be very angry with me here. Fact 6. I have 2 personalities.
Tim.
Smeagol. It's Smeagol, correct.
Fair enough.
Alex, I know your first thing was Gollum, but the character was.
Yeah, no, that's
Smeagol.
fair. That's fair.
Wow, this is so different to playing it with Slade. Okay, so Tim, you are 1-0 up.
Way.
We have another person, and then if it's tied, we've got a third.
Now to play like England and Seoul for 90 minutes.
Oh, Tim, bringing in the football jokes. I like it. Don't say it's coming home, because I did that on a podcast once, and then we lost in the final, and I looked like a right tit about 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
So, okay. Fact number 1. I was born on the 24th of June, 1978 in Canada. I'll give you a clue. This one isn't Smeagol.
Oh.
Alex?
Oh, shit, now I've got to think for Canadian. Is it Keanu Reeves?
Incorrect. Tim?
Justin Trudeau.
Incorrect. Fact number 2. I grew up in Toronto, and my parents were, brackets, and maybe still are, executives at IMAX.
Tim.
Tim?
Dead Mouse.
Incorrect.
Oh.
What a strange guess.
He is Canadian and grew up in Toronto.
I'll think of any more Canadians.
We can move on, don't worry.
Yeah.
Number 3, I have appeared in a number of video games, including being a hologram within Death Stranding, and a mask of my face was available for a short time in Among Us.
Him.
Tim?
Mads Mikkelsen?
Incorrect. Alex?
Yes, I've got nothing.
Okay. Number 4, I was cast as Uncle Theodore in Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
And
Tim.
also, Tim?
Guillermo del Toro?
Incorrect.
Ah.
Tim, you are out for this round. And also had a cameo hosting a Game Awards as a presenter in The Matrix Resurrections.
This is all media I don't partake of.
Gonna have to push for an answer.
I've got nothing. I've got nothing. Not even a guess.
Fact number 5, and the final fact. I host Summer Games Fest and the Game Awards.
Tim.
Alex.
Tim.
Jeff Keighley.
Tim wins. Fatality.
It is Jeff Keighley.
I had no idea he was Canadian.
Well, now you know.
Great, I'll remember that.
Do you want the third one, or are you sick of going for Get Over Here?
I don't mind doing the third.
Okay, good. This is different to doing it with Slade. It's very weird.
Yes, Alex hasn't been worn down yet. That's the problem.
Yeah, give him 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, so fact number 1. Oh, sorry, Tim wins. Here's the jingle.
Thank you.
This one's for fun after Tim's Mario epileptic induced fit.
He's not doing okay, folks.
Wahoo. So, fact number 1. I am a video game character who first appeared in 2005.
Tim. Nathan Drake.
Incorrect.
Alex. Captain Price.
Incorrect. Number 2. I am a fun-loving family man.
Fun-loving family man. Tim. Octodad.
Incorrect. Great reference, though.
Alex. God, what happened to me?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Gollum. What happened there? Wizard.
Homer Simpson.
Incorrect. Fact number 3. I lied. I'm not fun-loving. So what you've got is 2005 and a family man.
Oh, Tim. Max Payne.
Incorrect.
He doesn't love fun.
Doesn't love families either.
No. Loves jumping around, though.
Yeah.
Alex.
Alex.
The main character from BioShock.
Incorrect.
He's a family man.
Fact number 4. I've appeared in Little Big Planet, Destiny 2, as well as many other games.
Coming back from those games.
But this is a character, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Alex.
Alex?
Cade 6?
Incorrect.
I'm going to go with Jack from Jack and Daxter.
Incorrect. Another lovely reference. Fact number 5. I am based off of a character in Greek mythology.
Oh, Tim. Kratos.
You are Kratos. Ding, 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 ding,
I was
ding.
Kratos in Destiny 2.
He had an armor set that was hidden.
Oh, did he?
Yes,
Right, okay, fair enough.
So, I took appeared very loosely.
Yeah.
That's a whitewash. So well done, Tim.
Thank you. I actually picked up the God of War reboot on Steam in the sale.
No, you did. I've already stolen it from your library.
Yeah, you did.
But you have my copy of it.
I actually don't. I looked on our shelves and I can't seem to find God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn.
I have Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe I still have God of War.
Maybe
that's a future episode. I'd love to play it again.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
Good. Anything anyone wants to say before we get the fudge out of Dodge?
No.
Well,
don't bring me on for Gollum again.
Thanks for bringing the energy there, guys. Really appreciate it. I had fun, even if no one else playing a Gollum in the world ever did. Congratulations, Gollum. You have a fan in me. That was Video Game Club.
Like that Fallout Boy lyric says, 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
And thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great. Thanks, Gollum. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Love you. Bye.
Bye.